Everybody, welcome back to another video about gear and stuff I use on the trail. I decided to make this video today as kind of a piggyback on my most recent video, how I transitioned to lightweight backpacking. I want to thank everybody out there who subscribed because of that video, and it's my first video to hit 1,000 plays, so I'm posting this as a thank you for that. So I appreciate it. If you do like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Love to see you around for more hiking, beer, mountain, whatever I put on this channel. So today what I'm going to be doing is talking about the 10 pieces of gear that I just don't leave home without. And these some are necessary, some are very not necessary, but they're just things that I like to have when I'm out on the trail backpacking. And some of these may change, but in general, these are things that have just kind of become part of my kit, and they're always there. Before we do that, though, I want to do a big shout out to this beer, which is one of the probably top 10, maybe top 5 IPAs I've ever had. This is the King L, which is a collaboration between Equilibrium Brewing and Toppling Goliath Brewing. They took the MC Squared mash bill, combined it with the King Sue mash bill, and then they put in Citra Cryo hops, Citra Leukomax, Citra Incognito, and Citra T90 hops to make an insanely beautiful beer. This thing tastes like an orange creamsicle in a glass. It's amazing. So before we get into it, cheers. Man, that's good. I really hope they have more in Billings when I go next week. All right, let's jump right in. So I'm not putting any of the big items on here. No tent, no pack, no sleeping bag, that kind of thing. Biggest item though is hiking boots. I hiked in Vask heavy hiking boots for a long time. Struggled with blisters, struggled with foot pain, just struggled with a lot of things. They just, having that much weight on your feet, at the end of the day, just kills you. So I am doing a shout out to my Ultra shoes. So these are the Lone Peak 4.5s. They are the higher top. I also have the Lone Peak 6s here. Next year, I'm probably going to be doing more in the low tops. I do enjoy a little bit higher top, but these have seen 2 good summers of use, probably close to a couple 100 miles. These have the typical separation that's happening here, but in this model, they've since fixed that. This has been just a bomber shoe. I have noticed that, with a bunch of miles on them, you need to put a little bit extra cushion, just a rubber insole or something in the bottom, just to give your heels a little bit of extra cushion when you're walking on really rocky or uneven trail. But man, these have changed my life. I no longer get blisters. Yeah, I will not ever go on another hiking trip probably without my Ultras. They're beautiful. Next piece of gear, sun hat. I hate wearing sunscreen, and it's one of those things that I like a big brimmed hat. I know a lot of people opt for the hooded base layer with like a ball cap, but I always find that it just leaves this part of my face too open to the sun. And so this is a Sunday afternoons brand hat. Really any hat would work, but I liked this one because it's got the breathable mesh up here at the top, the cord for when it's windy. I have been using this hat probably three years at least, and it's still in great shape, and I beat the heck out of these things. So I throw it in the washer a couple times a summer, and it's a great hat. The thing I have found is a lot of these hats are really heavy, and this one has just been nice because I don't feel like if I'm wearing it and it gets over 80 degrees, I'm going to completely sweat to death. It's still hot, but it does cool off really fast because of the extra airflow you get on the top. So this hat is amazing. Always have a floppy hat. Next item, this is my water filtration system. As I mentioned in the last video, I use the Cat9 Be Free. I've tried the Sawyer, I've tried all various kinds of the Hiker Pro, the pump one, and I've tried the gravity filter too, the 10-liter one. The pump one is annoying because you just sit and do this forever and ever. And the thing that's nice about this is you fill up a liter, you squeeze it into your bottle, you go back and you fill it up again. It is the simplest design, and it just works super well. And I know the big diss against this filter is that the bag can rip and tear. I have been using this for a while. I change the top out, you know, almost probably every year, just because I'm paranoid. But I've never had a rip in this bag, and I've been using it probably 3 summers now, maybe even 4, and it's been solid. So don't set it down on rocks. Just be careful with where you set it, and I generally try not to set it down if it's got water in it. If I do, I like put it on my closed cell foam pad, which makes a big difference. So you just don't run the risk of snagging it and popping a leak in it. So this thing is great. It weighs barely anything. I know they have a 0.6 liter model too, which is just mean more trips into the creek to fill it up, but you know, either one works. I have never gotten sick while using this, so I guess that's what it's supposed to prevent. Great piece of gear. I never want to go back to any of the other filters ever again. It's awesome. Let's see, next piece of gear, because this is definitely a not necessary gear on the trail. But I found before I did my big Wind River thru hike last year, I was looking for something that would carry, you know, 10 to 12 ounces. That was super lightweight. And I was on Amazon and I found this plastic bottle made by Nalgene. It comes with a colored blue sleeve that fits around it, and it's got a big cap on the top too that you can use to pour into and drink. You don't need either of those. I keep this inside of my bear bag and have never had a problem. It is just rock solid. And I like it too because you don't get any of the metallic taste leaching into your whiskey or scotch, which is what I bring. So this thing, I think I weighed it, it's like 1.4 ounces, 1.5 ounces. I think it lists on Amazon as like being over 4 ounces, but when you get rid of the extra couple parts, this thing is super light, super awesome. And I know this is a question that gets asked a lot on the ultralight backpacking page on Facebook, is, you know, what does everyone carry their alcohol of choice in? And there are so many answers, but this beats everything in my opinion. It is just awesome. So, and then of course, Lefroy quarter cask is it's kind of become my outdoor staple. So a little bit of it left in there from a previous trip. Something I discovered this summer that I had always looked at and never bought because citric acid tends to give me canker sores. And I know in the past, like a lot of times when you eat dried mangoes, they have citric acid that they add into them, and I love dried mangoes on the trail, and I would just get canker sores by like day 4, and it would be awful. So I now go for natural mangoes that have none of that, just the mango. But they are the Nuun tablets, N-U-U-N, and these are hydration tablets that have all the B vitamins and all that stuff. They're large, so I recommend if you do use these, break them in half before you get on the trail, just so that you can slip in the mouth of your smart water bottle easier. If you use a wide mouth bottle, this is perfect. But the nice thing about this is they add carbonation, and I really like having a carbonated drink when you get to camp or as a middle of the day snack. So these things are awesome. They're a little bit pricey. I think they come in the little blue tubes. They're about, I don't know, $6 or $7, I think, for like 10 of them, but they're worth every penny. And they didn't give me canker sores. So these are now a staple of my my drink mix collection. I do a lot of lemonades and some other things. And yeah, I will probably never go out on trail again without Nuun tablets. They're absolutely amazing. And I actually had looked at them, but then I was reading a thru hiker. I forget which thru hiker it was doing the CDT this year, and he mentioned that these were like something he would never leave town without. I was like, well, maybe I should give them another look. Amazing. The pairing of the Ursac and the OPSEC. This has been so nice because I hate bear canisters. They're big, they take up way too much room in your pack, they're heavy, and they just... I always find it hard to pack the food in because, especially if you're going on a week-long trip or more, it's just awkward to pack it in and then get everything out. And I like being able to have a little bit of wiggle room side to side. So this is an expensive piece of gear. It runs over, I think, 110 bucks maybe, but it's light. It's 8 ounces as opposed to the 3 pounds you're going to pay for, or that you're going to have with a Bear canister. And then it has, the tie system up on top. This is not odor proof, and it's supposed to be so that no little rodents or anything can get inside. They make a bear proof bag, and they make like a rodent proof bag, and then they make like a both rodent and bear proof bag. I forget which one this is, but I usually am hanging it. I have had it in my pack at night before, and the only reason I'm comfortable doing that is because of the OPSAC. So this fits perfectly inside of this, and it closes. It's odor proof. You obviously want to be careful not to get food on the outside of it. You get 2 of these, I think, for 12 bucks, and I replace them every summer. And I started using them last year, and then this year I've used them every single trip, and they're great. Gives you kind of that, if you have a lot of stuff in Ziplocs inside of this, and then inside of this, it's odor proof. It's easy. And the other nice thing is too, if it gets rainy, even if water does get in this is waterproof down to, I don't know, 50 meters or something. I forget what they say. It's definitely a solid piece of gear. The only thing that I have found is if you open and close it too many times, these the things where it opens and closes tend to wear out, and they get harder and harder to close. And then, of course, one time I had a little chipmunk gnaw on it as I was preparing dinner, and that made it difficult. But these things are amazing. Definitely, I don't plan on going back to a Bear keg unless it is absolutely required. One piece of gear that I can't show you here because I'm filming with it is my iPhone 12 Pro Max. This doubles as obviously my video and photo recording device, and it also is my entire map system. I use the Topo Maps app. I have for 10 years. I have tried many times to run away from the GPS, get in some steep cavern with, walls on either side as, next to a creek. And then you tell it to put a dot on the map where you are, and it is within 20 feet every single time. So that app has been absolutely amazing. I've never had it fail. I don't even carry paper maps anymore, which I know a lot of people would say is kind of dumb, but I generally know the areas I'm going to fairly well, and I'm not that worried about getting lost. The phone is amazing, shoots great video, and of course the tripod that I take with it has the 3 foldable legs. And so you can wrap it around tree branches, you can stand it on its side, you can do all sorts of fun things with it. That is a piece of gear I obviously will never leave home without, and it's just awesome. So 2 more things. This is a food item, but last year I started packing the Queen Bee Gardens honey candies on my trips. And Queen Bee Gardens is a local honey place over in Lovell, Wyoming, and they make some of the most fantastic honey candy. Each of these runs around 30 calories a piece, so they're a real quick, sweet way to get some energy in you if you're just busting down the trail and you don't want to stop. You just keep a few of these in your pocket, and all sorts of flavors. This is like a chocolate praline. There's some vanilla that looks like huckleberry something. There's a caramel, almonds. Yeah, they're wonderful. So I generally carry a lot of these. They're great calories for the weight, and yeah, they're amazing. I have always struggled with what to eat for breakfast on the trail, and I discovered that the same company makes these Bee Energy bars. This bar is 1.5 ounces and weighs 200, or comes in at 240 calories, so that's 160 calories per ounce, which is really good if you're really trying to stay lightweight. I've tried Pop-Tarts, I've tried oatmeal, I've tried granola bars, protein bars. Not a thing for me. I've tried shakes. I brought along my hard-sided thing with the little agitator ball in it. None of them have been satisfying for breakfast, and I don't like having to boil water and make oatmeal in the morning. So I literally just now pack one of these for breakfast every single day and eat it in the tent while I'm packing up my sleeping bag and all my mats and stuff. This is just so easy, and they sound good to me every single morning. And generally I'm like, well, if that happens eventually, you're gonna get tired of it. Haven't yet. This is every day all summer in the mountains for me. This was great. So the only thing that's a little bit tricky is if it's in the bear hang off the tree overnight and it gets cold, it gets a little hard. And so you have to, warm it up a bit before you eat it so you don't break your teeth, but it's worth it. So chocolate, ginseng, there's the royal jelly, which is like the honey they feed to the queen bee to keep her alive forever and to make her awesome. Great stuff. They also, my Almond Joys are my favorite candy. They have their own version, which is called Be Joyful. And this is honey, almonds, coconut, and dark chocolate. Similar calorie in here. This is an amazing thing. So you could order these online. If you look up Queen Bee Gardens, I think, these are not cheap. You get I think a box of 15 for like 45 bucks, but they're worth every penny. Amazing, amazing energy food out on the trail. Okay, the last and most important item that I never leave home without is Leukotape. So about 5-6 years ago, I was so frustrated with my feet blistering in my shoes. I was about ready to give up backpacking, and my wife did some research and found that thru hikers all swore by this stuff. And so she ordered me some. Before hikes, I would tape up all my toes, the back of my heel, anywhere that I knew was going to blister. And you put it on, wade through streams, get dirty, you do whatever. A week later, you still have to work hard to peel it off. It will not come off of you no matter what. And it keeps the blisters away. Like, I was able to keep backpacking. Of course, now that I've changed shoes, I don't have to use it for my feet as much, but if you get a blister on, like, say your hiking pole blisters your hand or something else, you just throw it on there. It's great. I've gone out with several mountain guides on my portering trips in the Beartooths that I work, and shown them this stuff and come back the next year and they all carry it. Like, this is something I never leave home without. It's great. I even one night had a leak in my sleeping pad and realized I'd forgotten my repair kit at home. And I repaired a leak in my pad with this. And I had to blow it up maybe 2 times the rest of the night, but it held really, really, really well. So you can even use it in a pinch for that. It doesn't work for repairing anything that's wet, but this stuff's amazing. So I know a lot of hikers will wrap a couple rolls of this around like the upper part of their hiking poles, so they don't have to carry the whole roll, because you'll never use anywhere close to this on a trip. I keep a very small roll in my first aid kit that I'll replenish with a few turns off of this if I need to. But Leukotape, Leukotape, amazing stuff. You can buy it on Amazon. That's great. So those are the 10 things that I always carry on my trips. I know it's, for me, when I'm watching other videos on YouTube, it's always fun to see what people are taking, and some people are like, wow, I never even would have thought about taking that. And so if there's something here that you thought was interesting, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear if you bring some of the same stuff, or if you have even better options. I'm always willing to learn as well. So thanks for watching. Like I said, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, and take care. We'll see you around. I've got a 5-day trip that I'm going to post here soon about a loop that Mike and I did in the winds in July. It was a great trip, so we'll see you there for that one. Cheers.